Welcome to Stormwatch by GreyNoise Intelligence. Each week, we cover the latest info on what's happening at GreyNoise, Censys, and VulnCheck. Take a look at a roundup of important and timely cybersecurity topics, toss out some expert opinions, and drop the occasional conspiracy theory. This week, we continue to be incredibly impressed with you, dear listeners, and the community responses to our most recent poll. We asked y'all to tell us what you would prioritize if you could allocate more resources to one aspect of your cybersecurity program. The results are in, and they're actually pretty interesting. So we're going to take some more time to basically listen to you and hear what you have to say about that. Next up, we have a story about a Kansas City hacking indictment that can only be described, and I'm pulling this from Glenn, bold move, Cotton. Join us as we dig into the details of this pretty stupid and daft crime. And as the X and slash Twitter slash whatever you want to call the Hades site continues to decline, we take another look at the migration of cyber professionals to alternative platforms. We're going to take a peek at something called CVE Sky, since we're going to primarily focus on whether cyber folk are going to move to Blue Sky or not. And we have some updates from our respective organizations, including Censys's new Censeye that they did not tell us about, at least at GreyNoise. VulnCheck's notes on ProjectSend, and our impending GreyNoise platform migration. So before we get into the question of the day, I have a preliminary question. Is how was your break, everybody?
It's very, very peaceful, very, very chill, which is nice.
Oh, cue the music.
Cue the music. No, it's cold.
Did you do anything different, or was it just the standard?
I got to I will tell this story because I think it's a good example of there needs to be more mayhem in families. If you're gonna get together for Thanksgiving,
no,
really full send the mayhem. There was a whole, so I went to my partner's Thanksgiving with his family. I've been introduced to his family before, and they are crazy. They know this. And there was a whole bit where we left the house to go walk the dog. We come back and everybody is dressed in medieval wear, doing medieval dancing with the music on and everything. And there was a whole ceremony gifting a sword to my partner. So that was fascinating. I love a family.
That's amazing. Sorry, that's amazing.
Yeah. And then there were, 6 screaming children the entire time. Everybody is a yeller. And then the night ended with playing Secret Hitler, which if anybody has played Werewolves or that game, they know that ends in a lot of screaming. So I like it. I like the Mayhem family situation.
Okay. I like the quiet.
You like the quiet? I am such a
Well, you started off saying it was very chill, and then you ended with screaming Hitler. So,
the rest of the weekend, nothing occurred. I went for a 6-mile run with my friends. That was
12-hour.
God, I really don't know what chill means, do I?
No, you don't. No.
This is not news to anyone that knows you.
Yeah.
Mine was fine.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna say, I know a little bit about yours, so I know it was okay for the most part.
Yeah, it was fine. It was a nice little break from the big screen, just looking at the tiny screen, tiny glowing rectangle kind of situation. We tried to do it different and thought we were gonna be smart and creative and go to a restaurant that was doing a Thanksgiving prefix meal and all this stuff. Didn't quite work out very well. It was not good. It was not good. So that was really disappointing.
Potatoes aren't great, huh?
There was no mashed potatoes.
How do you have? It's Thanksgiving. You need to have mashed potatoes.
I know.
Did they have roasties?
They had a potato au gratin thing, which was okay. But yeah, no, it was interesting choices. So some may love it. I'd rather just do it at home next time. So, but that's okay.
Weird about those.
And then I didn't realize how sad I was not to have leftovers. Like when you get that late night snack attack because you ate earlier in the day. And I'm like, we don't have leftovers. So I learned a few things.
It's important
But
to
it
try
was
new
still
things.
nice. Yeah.
Learn.
Could have been great. Bob, I saw
Overwatch,
some of
good
your
break?
food photos, so I know you were busy.
Well, let's get Overwatch first. Overwatch, good break. Holiday was good. Saw Gladiator. It was not good. I was going to ask about movie, like post Thanksgiving dinner movie traditions. Back in the day, like that was a thing, like back when I was a kid. But since COVID, I don't even go to the movie theater at all. I don't know if you guys had that as a tradition at all.
I haven't been
No.
to the theater in a while.
There were a few years where we went to the movie theater on Christmas. I've never heard of the
Yeah.
post-Thanksgiving movie tradition, though.
Yeah.
Ours was good because I think, as I mentioned last week, the grandkids were up, which was awesome. Got to play with the 3-year-old and the 10-month-old. And we also went tree hunting on the Saturday following. So it was the little guy's first tree hunt. It was great. So it was great.
Did you win?
Is that
Yeah, it was actually normally there's a little bit of drama at the tree hunt. There was zero drama this time. It was like the most seamless, perfect experience.
That's so lucky.
when you say tree hunt, that means going to find your Christmas tree.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
Going to a giant farm, wandering around for usually a long time. This time not, but usually a long time because somebody's picky about trees. Anyway, and this year they weren't, which was good because whatever. And then sawing it and taking it back home and stuff like that. Yeah.
So then Kimber, you said, did you win? What does that mean? Did you get the tree you wanted?
That means, did you get the tree you wanted, and did nobody cry?
Nobody cried. It was great. This was like perfect. Yeah, the kids didn't cry. It was great.
Yeah, inevitably.
And
can you hear me? My video is frozen.
Yes, we can hear you, but your video is indeed frozen.
All right, we'll just go with it.
We do have a proper question though today, which is this is the season of holiday stuff on TV. But back in my day, there was a communal effort or a communal experience because broadcast television would play Christmas specials at the prescribed times of year. Then everybody would be seeing the exact same thing at the exact same time until DVRs became a thing. So I'm curious. I think you two are old enough to have had a similar experience to that. So let me start with Kimber. Do you have a favorite or traumatic or nostalgic commercial from one or more of the different specials that were out there?
When you asked about this, or when you gave us warning that this was the question, I had to rack my brain about this, and the only thing that I can actually remember is the Coca-Cola polar bear commercials.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I think this year the big deal is that it's 100% AI generated.
AI driven. Yeah, it's so sad. It is so sad. Yeah.
But I feel like I remember one back in the day that was almost puppety looking or something like that. It was like claymation or puppets or something along those lines. Like the bear being it must have been claymation. But that's the one that always makes me feel like it's Christmas or the holiday season in general. It's winter now, because I grew up in Arizona. No winter to be heard of. But once the polar bear commercial comes on TV, it is winter.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Glenn is out by this situation.
Glenn is still frozen, but it's in a pretty decent thing. So that's not
I know, thankfully.
Glenn, how about you? Do you have a favorite or traumatic or just nostalgic Christmas commercial?
I have a nostalgic one, which is kind of funny given that I was a child, but it's the Anheuser-Busch Clydesdales commercials.
Oh wow, I almost forgot about that. They did not come into my mind at all, but I remember those. That was a fun commercial, actually. Yeah.
Those are the ones similar to what Kimber was saying. In Texas, we'll get cold, but not. We'll get a few things of snow or ice, but not winter. But when that was on, it was all right, the banner has dropped. It is now Christmas time.
That is so cool. Overwatch, any commercials? I know you're struggling with this. Memory is poop. She's got nothing. All right. I have a feeling that most of the folks listening, I know we probably have a decent age range, and some people do remember this. I'm going to stop the music because instead of just talking about the hope the level, I did not level this, so we'll see what happens to this one. I wanted to give folks, if you don't know what this like, if you weren't back there in the day and you didn't have the communal broadcast TV experience of seeing the same thing as everyone else, I thought you might like to actually get a little experience. I'm going to fast forward to some of this as it goes through.
It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown is sponsored by Dolly Madison, bakers of all kinds of neat-to-eat treats, and by your neighborhood McDonald's restaurant. At McDonald's, we do it all for you.
I've not heard that.
So I'm gonna pause it here because we are not going. This is about a minute and a half long commercial for McDonald's, and you wouldn't know it to begin with because it's all about this poor girl and following her social ineptitude or awkwardness and
Wow.
ending in joy to be found at McDonald's with friends. And I every single time this aired, and it aired for a couple years, I just felt so bad for her. Like the character, probably not the actual actress, but the character. As a kid, I just felt so bad for her because like they're focusing on this poor kid. This traumatized me like pretty badly as a child. So it's a vivid nostalgic memory, but this isn't the best memory. You can actually see like their awkward stuff hanging with friends and like the hair back in the day. Like, wow, this is bad.
Wow.
However, Dolly Madison was the actual thing that I remembered.
The folks at Dolly Madison want to get you out of town with Dolly Madison's Hawaiian Holiday Sweepstakes. Take off on Continental Airlines for a one-week vacation in Hawaii for a family of 4. Includes accommodations at the luxurious Hilton Hawaiian Village Hotel, plus spending money. And
this was on at the same year that the if anyone remembers, the Brady Bunch had like their whole like multi-part Hawaii episode series where they went there with the volcano thing. So this actually there was a big Hawaii focus in Hollywood.
other valuable prizes, video games.
Look at the valuable prizes. Look at the valuable technology.
Tape players, pocket cameras, nothing to buy. Entry blanks and complete rules at participating stores or on Zinger boxes. So enter today. I'm ready.
Oh.
Wow.
Watch out for the Zinger Zapper.
Well, we're just watching TV together now, Bob. We can't.
Yeah. We're done.
Sorry if this is your first time tuning in.
Honestly, like TV back in the day is just like so comforting. I could watch all of that stuff. Like there's so much warm toned like everything in there. Just the voice is warm, like the colors are warm. Like I love it. It's very
and there wasn't a lot of science in the advertising, so they weren't like going into your psyche like every stupid ad today does, and like destroying your mind like all the advertising does today too.
Yeah, people's attention spans weren't fucked up, so like you could actually have a storyline in your commercial that wasn't 5 seconds long. God, the good old days.
Oh, I forgot about this one too. I actually asked Bill if he could make time to come on today because I knew he'd have one that I would forgotten. And if anyone, you should go look. It's on YouTube. This was Norelco razors, like electric razors, because that was a big thing back in the day. They had the whole like stop animation like going through. That was that. Bill, thank you. I knew you'd have something to share for that one, Bill.
This is awesome. Now a podcast for the boomers.
Yeah,
that's right. We're taking it back. Anyway, so as everybody knows, like we have a podcast because you're listening to it. Scroll down on here and like and subscribe, all the things that would make Overwatch really happy. We like to keep Overwatch happy. That we should.
Well, there's a comment you're gonna want to see.
Oh yes. Okay, so sorry you're getting this. The Hess truck commercials were always a sign of the season, and we have a tradition in my family where the kids all get Hess trucks and the grandkids all get Hess trucks still at Christmas time. It's now a very expensive.
Hess is to those of us.
Okay, Hess is a gas station chain, an oil petroleum company chain. It's not all over the place, but it is enough for the U.S. that most people, like a good chunk of people, know what it is. And to this day, they still have this. It's its own thing now, though. Like the Hess truck thing, like you can still get them in the Hess stations if you can find one, but they have a whole like throughout the year thing with this now. Like they know they've got the boomers hooked on getting nostalgia stuff from them, whatever. So it's great. What's amazing is the batteries last forever in these things. So like all the things that annoy, hey, number two, all the things that annoy number two because we get trinket stuff work perfectly all the time. It's great. So that's awesome. Thank you for that, Lou. I would have forgot to mention that. Yeah, so please like and subscribe, all the things. And we had some breaking news earlier in the day. Glenn sort of popped the bubble of that news because apparently he has something that already does it. But Glenn's dream of having the ability to control his Tesla, like Michael Knight, his hero from Kit, he now can do that with the official Tesla app on his watch. Apparently, he's been doing that with like a knockoff app, but now he can actually use the implants from Musk himself into that right now.
Can you do summon Tesla?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
that might be cool.
Can
you have
do
to be
shields and
absolutely
it'll do
insane
shields?
to do that, but yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many children does it run over if you do that?
Not enough.
Oh wow! Okay, Glenn's chosen violence thing. So we have mentions of Hitler and killing children.
This is the worst start of a show
episode.
ever.
This is a
I know we're
great
so
episode.
bad today. Where's Emily to keep us on track?
Yeah.
So
about the poll. First of all, thank y'all for responding on all the platforms. This is like another. Again, we were in like the 200s, I think, for this one again. So. Y'all are great. We didn't have a snark response this time. Sorry, I didn't have a chance to think of one last week. But if you could allocate more resources to one aspect of your cybersecurity program, what would it be? You had choices of threat intelligence and hunting, vulnerability management and patching, security awareness and training, and incident response and recovery. And by far, across all the platforms, vulnerability management plus patching was the top choice, followed by threat intelligence. And I just wanted to briefly just kind of discuss those findings. I'm going to throw out there, and you can basically tear me apart for this one. I was really shocked that people care about vulnerability management.
That's a spicy take. It's literally okay. That's enough to send me into a rant about it, because
very cool.
I totally understand this, because there's like a formula to good cybersecurity, and I think we all kind of know it in the back of our heads, and nobody necessarily like taught us these things, but that formula starts with a foundation of maintaining a good inventory so that you can manage all of the things, right? And that problem will haunt you throughout the rest of the growth of your maturity of your cybersecurity like program. No matter how much money you have, you will always be haunted by the fact that your inventory is not good enough and your patching is not good enough. So because it is such a foundational issue, everything that occurs from that point on, so like if you're compromised by something, it's because you didn't patch good. If somebody, like, basically anything except for like a really good fish kind of relies on vulnerability management. So it's a foundational aspect.
I kind of want to circle back to Bob's comment about why are you surprised by that? I also
I have an answer though. I have an answer.
Okay.
Because I read the Epic Sophos report last month, and a bunch of really important big organizations, not named in there, but they're there, like that's who they are, got popped because they didn't patch. So nobody cares about patching.
Oh, you're saying nobody cares, and that's why it's not accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, why bother trying to do something that obviously your organizations don't care about?
I don't think that's true. I think that the people on the ground level care a lot.
Yeah.
I think the people who are actually doing the work care a whole lot and are probably very frustrated by it, because there's that trope of the CISO being distracted by the new shiny and being like romanced by the vendor and all of these things. And the sysadmin being like, everything we have works fine. So I think
this is a one-act play going on by Kimber all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Playlet.
Yeah.
That's
just what happens, you know?
It's kind of like echoing some of the things that Kimber was saying. Like the vuln management side is perhaps the hardest. It is the most fundamental, but like it's fluid, right? Like going back to the inventory piece, things are constantly added or removed from your network. So like it's like the mail, like it's always coming. You're never going to get ahead of it. You probably get mentally beaten down pretty easily because you just can't get ahead of it. There's always something changing. Some orgs do not necessarily do change management very well, so that's always a surprise that can negatively impact your vuln management. And it's also like kind of a team sport. So Kimber said, like, if something happens, you could most likely trace it back to you didn't do something with inventorying your assets or somehow maintaining their patch levels. But you have to make sure that the server team, the network team, the endpoint team, like all of these groups have to play together for that to be a successful program. And that is one of the reasons why it's probably the hardest for organizations, because those teams don't really like to talk to each other or they compete for resources. But I think it's something that everyone cares deeply about. No one does it well, and no product does it amazingly well as far as like patch inventory and stuff. So it's just kind of a hard thing all around.
Yeah, I like that thought of like, oh, it's probably the most team sport of all of the things in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Because even the people who I talk to who are proud of what they do in vulnerability management, and they do like experience like the feeling of, I do this well. You ask them, so is everything 100% patched? And they'll be like, no. Because inevitably there is a department that like, yeah, it's actually considered detrimental to the business to patch those things, because business has to stop in order to patch them, and they can't necessarily like afford a backup. So
Which is, oh my God, like talk about rant and sentences. That's one where, so in a previous role, I was like the external advisor, consultant, whatever, for folks like vuln management programs. And it would get so frustrating with some clients. Hopefully you're not watching, because you would have your check-ins, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever, and you go over like improvements, and like it just gets worse. And then they get upset at you because their risk score has gone up. But then you're like, well, you didn't patch it, or you didn't patch faster than things were coming out. And so it's just this constant fluid, it's just very icky if you don't have like full buy-in. And the consequences of that are very, very high. It's just a kind of an unsexy task that has to be done that no one is good at, and it's very thankless.
It's one of those things where I am very suspicious that throwing more money at it will fix the problem. Because
Agreed.
Yes,
like,
I was going to ask that. So, like, the folks
Agreed.
said, like, if they could get more. So, what are the resources that are going to help them suddenly have a magical patching program? What are the resources?
You would have to have hot swappable backups for everything, right? Like a very seamless load balancing, and like if something goes offline,
Well, depending on your needs,
more than enough coverage,
or a culture that allows 5 minutes of downtime once a month.
Incentivize people to do backup or to do updates by giving them money. I don't think it's like a staffing problem necessarily.
I think in this case, I mean, outside of the basics of like, being able to inventory assets and patching, that stuff is supporting the people that do it, either with processes or policies or whatever that allow, that have like downtime is this time once a month or whatever, or the executive support to say like, if security says this is bad enough, then we're going to accept, X minutes of downtime to update, reset, or whatever. of course, within reason. Like if you're building, automobiles, like you've got to plan that out a lot more than if you're just, sending emails or something. But that has to be well thought out. And then to Kimber's point about folks that won't update because of downtime, like that is just an infuriating sentence, because of what do you think is going to happen if you don't? You're going to get involuntary downtime, and it's going to be during Q4 Black Friday weekend, and you're a retail organization, and like the consequences are going to be much higher. So that's not an excuse that's acceptable, no matter who you are, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. I've definitely been the person coming in on Christmas to update things, because that was the only day that the business wasn't functioning. And in retrospect, I mean, my family doesn't celebrate Christmas really, so it like wasn't a big deal to do it. But I don't know that anybody should necessarily be doing that, because we should be able to have like the free day off sort of thing.
Back to the mental state of cybersecurity professionals. Have you
So,
have either one of you ever maybe shortcutted a change control process or something to just like, okay, this is a small update, it's just, and then bad things happen?
That's a really good question. No,
I asked because
So
I
I'm-
definitely have, and I learned a lot from that.
I have
So
not.
I'm actually going to say no. My most recent memory of vuln management is running the whole organization for that at Liberty Mutual, and I guess one reason why I'm as annoyed at like the people saying they want more resources, vulnerability management, or that they even care about patching, is that like we actually did care about patching at Liberty. It was one of the most risk averse organizations I've ever worked for in terms of that kind of a thing. And like as an example, like for the Microsoft Patch Tuesday, everything was patched within 7 days, and the critical stuff was literally patched within like 24 or 48 hours.
Nice.
That policy probably still exists there too, and we had full support all the way up to like senior leadership in the company. So like I guess I'm used to organizations that care about it, but all I see now that I'm on the other side of things is just the org after org after org just fail after fail after fail, and get ransomware because of a unpatched thing, and that same thing is still unpatched for your second and third ransomware event. And like I guess if orgs haven't learned by now, and we go back to this as well too, like we were great at it, and like I am bragging a little bit. The team was great at it at Liberty because senior management had buy-in all the way up to the top of the organization. And I guess maybe that really isn't the case at a lot of these organizations, as we keep talking about. That's kind of where the failure point is. And like to your point, the HA is hugely important. They were also like one thing I really appreciated about the senior management there. I'm saying nice thing about like VPs and whatever now, but they didn't want the reputation damage of like a web server being offline, or like the web app being offline, or the mobile app being offline. So they like HA'd the heck out of everything, because they felt like it would be on them, that they would look bad to their customers and to their executives if they had downtime at all. And I don't know how you instill that in other organizations, but I don't see that anywhere. How about you guys? I don't see it anywhere.
I wonder if this is still a role that is it clearly like, I wonder what percentage of orgs, because a lot of the very large enterprises have to have some kind of at least someone in charge of vuln management. But thinking about like the 50% of businesses that are more than 50% of our GDP or whatever, like I wonder how well defined patch management is in those orgs. And is it someone's like second or third job? Is it actually even a full-time job? Because when they say like resources, I'm really wondering like do they actually have anything at all, and they're just looking for someone to just be able to focus on like finding and patching? I don't know.
I've been really surprised in some of the discussions that I've had with people since, I work at VulnCheck. Vested interest in vulnerability management over here. But it's been really surprising to find out how many people that is the bulk of their job is patching. And
Okay.
it's not even
Wow.
necessarily like I patch everything. It's like, oh yeah, like I have all the Windows machines and the workstations, and Barbara over there has all of the like switches, and Jill has like these very particular servers. And like these are usually like kind of the more government-y type stuff. Financial institutions and government have a very like regimented program, and I think that's because a lot of the defense, like there's a lot of correlations between business and war that we can make. But like when you think about having a good defense, you often have like a lot of redundancy in layers and things like that. So it makes sense that the places with a lot to defend, like our financial institutions, understand like it's okay for someone to have this very particular role, because it can be a full-time thing to have to discuss with people or hunt down people with unpatched laptops and be like, why has it not connected to the network in forever? So that's actually like, there are people out there with the boots on the ground, like harassing workstation owners to be like connecting to stuff. And I think
Well,
that's
there's also the the velocity issue of like there's like I think this year there's been 30% more CVEs than last year, right? And that's happening year over year over year. So if you're not able to handle it today or keep up today, you're sadly not going to find a way to do it better or to catch up, right? Like major changes need to be had, because it's only, as we know, it's only getting worse.
maybe just
CB's
start
asking for
over.
more doom and gloom, so there you go. But
Just start over. If you're really struggling to patch something, just eat it, get something new.
if you put everything in the cloud, though, you never have to patch. That's what I've read.
Oof. All right. On that hot take, we are totally moving.
Every
to it.
patch
Like,
advisory
it's
says like if you use our cloud service, there's no action needed. So
yeah, that's because it's go to the cloud. They said we are probably going to talk a little bit more next week about patching and vuln management. Everybody, I mean, just shocker, it's a security thing. But next Monday is the 3rd anniversary of Log for Shell. So I want to have a little discussion next week. Has anything really massively changed since then?
How do we celebrate?
Maybe the attackers will celebrate for us by giving us something else to worry about next week. We'll see.
Oh,
That's what I would do right now if I was an attacker, but that's just
Log
me.
for Shell 2.
So we have a fun story to go over next, and this every time, like I reread this, like so we have this. What I've shown in here is a Casey Man indicted for computer hacking. It's a justice.gov article, and the full indictment is available too. We drop the links into the show, into the notes in the channel right now. I've reread this like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, this man's an idiot. Like this man is just an absolute idiot. And like just to give people if you didn't see this story, I mean, I feel bad for you because like we need all the levity we can get in cyber. So this guy named Kloster, we have to say allegedly because he's not convicted yet, hacked a health club chain and a nonprofit earlier this year. He was previously employed by company victim one in earlier this year, where he used their credit card to buy hacking tools. So like already not bright. It's totally traceable. They're going to do a forensic analysis and it's going to show up. So like dumb move number 1. He hacked into the gym, changed his own membership fee to $1, erased his photo, stole a staff name tag, brazenly sent his resume to the gym owners after hacking them, and then posted on social media. There's the real kicker. The evidence that he had control over security cameras with a message about how to get a company to use your security service. He used some generic tools, and he ended up costing about $5,000 in remediation costs. So not like a huge hack or whatever, but like this is just dumb. Like how does this? Why? Tell me why.
I mean,
Glenn, help me.
Let's start with some good news. This is a hacker that cares about movement and working out, so that's cool. That's pretty good.
Health
Yeah,
hack.
gym membership.
Yeah, I support him for that.
Other good news is this isn't just viewing HTML source code, because Missouri doesn't really like that to happen. So that's pretty cool.
This was actual hacking.
This was actual hacking, so we'll take that as some progress. Beyond that, yeah, like you said, bold move, Cotton. Like the $5,000 number, I really want to know. Like, nothing is only $5,000 in a crime, so that's probably just a level of felony or whatever is what I imagine. But it's just kind of funny how he progresses from like the health club breach, and then changing his gym membership to $1. Like, what more do you want? You got like $1 membership. Like, why did you keep going? Not smart.
I really hope that this guy was part of some little hacker collective online that definitely has a Telegram chat, and that he bragged to all of his little Telegram chat friends about it and was like, yeah, I'm getting a discount on my gym membership. And everybody in the chat was like, oh shit. That's what I hope.
The just to give you, and let me make this a little bigger if I can do that on here. Figure out how to use controls. I mean, just I need it, I just can't believe he's this dumb. So, beginning on or about April 26th, Closter entered the premises of company victim 2 before midnight. The following day, he sent an email to one of the owners of the company victim 2 from his work email address at company victim 1, writing, I managed to circumvent the login for the security cameras by using their visible IP addresses. I also gained access to the Google Fiber router settings, which allowed me to use whatever to explore user accounts associated with the domain. If I can reach the files on a user's computer, it indicates potential for deeper system access. He claimed to have assisted over 30 small to medium-sized industrial businesses in the Kansas City, Missouri area, and attached a copy of what he described as his resume, which greatly differed from what he had previously provided to the company victim 1. I guess another reason why I wanted
he
to
had
put
new
this out
skills
there
to add.
is,
He had to update his resume.
yeah,
Obviously.
like, so for anyone that thinks this is a way to like this is not how bug bounty programs work. First of all, like, those are legitimate things where companies like want you to find things and they pay you and work with you to do things. This is not how to get into the security industry, everybody. I think that's the other reason why I wanted to bring this up, because I don't think the general folks that may listen to us are this daft. But if you know anybody this daft, please share this story with them, because this is not a great way to get into the security industry at all.
It also, like a month later, he hacked into a I think it's unnamed, but a nonprofit organization. So like, they clearly got a new toy and it's having some fun with it. But they escape containment and not advised to do so. Uninvited hacking is a crime.
We get asked about this a lot at the hackerspace.
And
it's like, if you utilize a business or if you work somewhere where security is not being taken seriously, like, what do you do? There's no
What are
good
the ethics there?
Yeah. I mean, I think we can all agree, don't hack it. Don't mess with it. Don't touch it. Like, but there is no good answer, right? Because there are no consequences for a small business that doesn't secure its router. So you can like offer to help for free, I guess, but I don't know what the actual answer is on this. Tell an adult.
I guess it depends on, well, yes, what you said is correct. I don't want to say something to, like, anyway, like, but if you know of someone, if you know of a company that has, like, crazy sensitive information and they're not responding or helping, that's where, again, you don't hack, you don't demonstrate, but you can raise flags, either social media or press, news, whatever, like, to get some more eyeballs on it. But you cannot take it into your own hands like that, because there are very well established laws against doing things on other people's computers that will land you in trouble, just like this person.
But I mean, Censys does things on a regular. I mean, they've taken different approaches over time. One of their most recent ones is with the industrial control systems, working with CISA and other agencies to try to get to the folks that are having obvious issues because of what they can see on the internet. That's a very niche thing, and it's easier
But
to get
Census
like
didn't
someone like
hack to
CISA.
get that information.
No, they didn't hack to get it, but like where I was going with that is like if they were to outside of that context, which is a very like that's critical infrastructure kind of thing, for just general stuff that's on the internet. Like if you go to Census, you're going to see like really bad things. Like you're just going to do that. And if Census tried to reach out to any one of these organizations, they would be like click, or they wouldn't pick up the phone, or they wouldn't open the letter because they're just not going to do it. No one's going to believe them. So there is no good recourse, like, and just don't mess with things. But up to you, I think you two were talking about internal to an organization, maybe. Like if people aren't caring about security, what do you do about it? Like all you can do is just bring it up to the chain as far as you're allowed to bring it up the chain, and that's it. You do not do anything more than that inside an organization either.
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea of causing a little bit of shenanigans. I really like the idea. And I think that's an important thing to think about is now there's actual consequences for these things. Like
Also, you have to demonstrate that you were not trying, like, so by changing your membership to $1, you're defrauding them. Like
right.
There's a difference in demonstrating something, like changing a wallpaper. I don't know. I'm not giving advice here, but there's a difference in like changing a wallpaper on a server to freak someone out and stealing money, which is what happens when you change your gym membership to $1. Also, I want to know, is this like a Planet Fitness where it's $10 a month, or is this like a fancy smancy thing and it's like a $300 a month club and suddenly they're like, I have questions.
I think it's gotta be
Research
like
only, of course.
a local gym. I don't know.
Anyway, don't do that, kids.
Yeah, don't do that. And also, like, if you did employ this person in their services because he claims to have a resume of people he's helped with before, maybe double check all your systems for backdoors and stuff, because who knows what he's done to you if he actually worked for you. Yeah.
Is he on LinkedIn? Of course, for hacking.
So we're going to move on to I try to get a segue, but there's just no good segue to it. We've been having a discussion off and on and amongst the crew about like the sorry state of cybersecurity on social media, and of late, as like in the past month as well, most recently, the exodus from X, or formerly known as Twitter or whatever, has been real. I poked a little bit, like the Mastodon population numbers have gone down substantially too from the initial migration over to Mastodon too. Like use has gone down, users have gone down, et cetera, off the instances as well. And I'm just curious for you all and everyone, that's because I know we have a bunch of live listeners. Please jump in on this. Hopefully we'll see what you have. Like, where are you on social media right now as a cybersecurity professional? And like maybe I'll start with Kimber. Like Kimber, where do you hail in terms of cybersecurity stuff on social media?
My cybersecurity social media allegiance is kind of up in the air right now. I have been on Blue Sky for quite a while, so it was very convenient, this most current exodus to there, where I think everybody, I don't even know how this kicked off, really. I'm not sure what I guess probably the elections kicked off a lot of it, of the move to Blue Sky. So that's where I've seen the most traction, and kind of, I think the quality of the content on Blue Sky is a bit what I'm looking for in terms of, on Mastodon, there's a lot of novelists. I need the short form, I have been on LinkedIn quite a bit as well. I'm not sure. That's been very strange.
Wait, are you turning into a thought leader, Kimber? Please. Do we need an
God,
intervention?
I hope so. I hope that all of my thoughts lead. I think I'm gonna settle on Blue Sky. That's where I'm at right now.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Oh, also, don't delete your Twitter account. Don't, because your username is important. Delete your tweets, that's fine, but don't delete your account.
Yeah. Well, while Musk could do almost anything he wants with anything, less likely to be success. I mean, and he has stolen accounts before. He's less likely to do that, and other people are less likely. Or if you get rid of your account, anyone that wants to impersonate you can. That's actually been a problem on Blue Sky right now. The impersonation problem has kind of grown a little bit since the migration happened over to Blue Sky. So be careful of that.
Yeah.
That's actually really good advice. Glenn, where are you hailing these days?
I've been pretty strong on Mastodon the last year or so. I've had Blue Sky, but it just wasn't enough, like, I guess, of my community on it, I guess, or at least I didn't know where they were or whatever. But again, kind of what we're talking about is, in November, Blue Sky surpassed 20 million users. So now there's a decent chunk of folks over there. So I'm kind of splitting time between Mastodon, Blue Sky, of course, LinkedIn, because that's never going well. But I'm hoping that we can all come to a consensus and have a vote to agree on one platform. That would be great, just to make it easier on where to look and where to search. So right now, I'm kind of splitting between Blue Sky and Mastodon. I've been very not that active on Blue Sky, trying to be better about it, but it's yet another thing, right? So I'm all about having a place for our community. It just gets really, we've been tired since the 2022 acquisition of Twitter, and then, but between the politics of it, the policies, the AI stuff going on at X, and also it's just a terrible experience now. Like, sorry, but
I think that's where I'm really struggling with social media right now, is the AI kind of made it all feel a little bit pointless. Like, when I see, like, LinkedIn, I can tell when people are AI phoning it in. And that kind of is like, well, I think there was some, there's a word for this, but like, basically you get really depressed that everything sucks. Because like we're all just generating so much content, and like it's for the sake of content, and like even this obviously is content, but like I enjoy this because it's very conversational, and it's very like, even we get the comments, and like I love when people comment on this, because it's like, okay, this feels like we're having a conversation, and that is like the entire point of existence, is connecting with other people, right? But when I look at LinkedIn and I see like the AI generated content, and when I look at Twitter and I see the AI generated content, I just kind of am like, what's the point? So that's what I've really liked about Blue Sky, is I see people experimenting again. I have a friend who's like spinning up different bot content, and like that's always fun, like just to see
Nice.
people's projects reemerge. I'm seeing like the communities reemerge, like all of the deep like network nerd stuff. I'm just waiting for the weather people to come over there, because weather Twitter
that'd be
has
great.
been a really like, I'm still on Twitter because of the National Weather Service, damn it. And the
So
storm
I
hunters.
have a bot that I'll share with you later. So there's a bot that if you subscribe to it and it figures out where you are and tailors you stuff from the National Weather Service to you
Oh, really?
specifically. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really great. It's really
I
great.
need
Do
that.
share.
The so the maybe I haven't, so I'm on primarily on Blue Sky now. So I'm in a bunch of, I know we're all in a bunch of different communities. I'm in a bunch. I'm my primary, like my largest community is like our data science-y kind of folks out there. And after the whole blocking thing, that because I think like Brazil was a big thing to get people into Blue Sky.
Blocking.
The removal of whatever I don't even know what the stupid policy was, but whatever that blocking policy change made, that got a lot of other people off of it as well too. The election did cause a lot of that as people to migrate. And I hear that the content is just absolutely abhorrent on like the Hades site too. So a
Oh,
lot
it's
of
so bad.
folks a lot of folks moved to Blue Sky from X. They weren't on Mastodon from my data sign, our communities, and they caused a lot of folks that were on Mastodon in those communities to jump from there to there. And the content feed in Mastodon of that community has dropped. It's just plummeted, and it's all on Blue Sky now. Like they're all just doing stuff over there. And I have been watching the cyber community build up on there. There's a number of what are called starter packs on Blue Sky that help you beef up your feed of things from people that tweet a lot about stuff that you care to, or whatever. I have no idea what we call things anymore. Onto those as well too, and to give some folks incentive to get on, security folks incentive to get to Blue Sky. The labs team, we threw together a little thing, which so if you remember back in the day, like I think it's a year and a half ago now, we had Constantine who made CVE Crowd on the pod, and CVE Crowd is still going strong. So definitely use that to monitor all the chatter about CV activity in the Fediverse, because he's doing a great job maintaining that. He's had a lot of improvements too. It looks really great. Everyone should definitely go there. This does something a little similar. We didn't want to do an also ran to just copycat what he did. So ours is a little different. We basically give you an immediate look back for the past. I'm trying to scroll in the one window and it's in the other window. Give me a minute. There we go. We gave you past 6 days of online viewing of like what the chatter is, and I do my best. I try to do Karen feeding of this thing. So there is an egregious number of bots on Mastodon that just watch the NVD feed and then just, hey, there's a new CVE from NVD or whatever out, and like that's the most useless thing ever, guys. Sorry. So I don't, they're not included in the chatter, and things carry over from day to day if there was chatter a previous day. And we have a cool little heat map at the bottom for like 30 days worth of activity for CVEs. You click on any one of them and it goes to actually I will click on this one here because I believe this is the PAL one. It'll take you back to the Blue Sky so you can actually see what all the chatter is for a particular thing as well too. So it gives you a lot of information, and immediately on any one of these things, like we pull this one up, it will give you CVE details and let you explore it on different platforms. If it happens to be something that we have a tag for, it will also show up like we're a link on here as well too. And the thing also maintains I have to sign in, which I'm not going to do on here. It auto maintains a list of people that actually do tweet about CVEs and security stuff as well too. So if you want something to follow the people that do CVE chatter, this is also a fine thing to go to be able to do that.
I think all the companies are on Blue Sky right now too. I made the VulnCheck account yesterday.
And
Very
if you're
cool.
watching this and you haven't done anything with Blue Sky and you care about your handle or your brand's handle,
Yes,
you might want to jump on that because, like we said, it's only growing each day. So
register that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we are going to talk about ourselves a little more. We've already done that a couple times today. I do have to have a little bit of a qualm here. So apparently, Kimber is good enough to know about things but our friends at Censys. I thought we had friends at Censys. I thought Emily and Himija liked this and stuff, but I guess not. They have a new. I caught this in GitHub because I get stalk a ton of people, including all the folks at Censys, and I caught this thing called Censeye that they put together, and it is a tool designed to help researchers identify hosts with characteristics similar to a given target. So you can basically run this thing and get a lot of really good information about stuff, and use this to do all the hunting that you want to go do. It's going to be a couple weeks before the Censys folks are back to talk about this, and I think they should be the ones to talk about this. I probably can't be on that show because, like, obviously we're not friends, so I maybe I can't be on that show since I promised anything these days.
Wow.
I feel a little hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
We'll talk it out.
Have you had a chance? Either one of you had a chance to play with this? I have not had any time to play with. Everyone's gonna learn why we haven't had time to play with. Or I haven't had time to play with Censeye in a minute. But you guys have a chance to play with this at all?
I have not. I read it when I saw I saw Michael. I think there was a blog about it. I think.
Yeah.
I saw Michael shared that out, so I read through that, but no, I haven't actually touched it.
Yeah, that's cool. definitely one of those things where it's like there's just so many things on the internet that
to get to.
I mean,
yeah.
I can't touch Censys without losing several hours of my life because you just keep pivoting and pivoting.
Rabbit
and pivoting.
hole after rabbit hole after.
Yeah, in a fun way. In a fun way, to be clear. But it's just like, oh,
Well, I mean, for me, the
What's
IP
this?
history, like what this IP looked like over time, is one of the coolest things on Censys to actually go investigate.
yeah.
Kimber, we also did not give you a lot of time because it literally popped up right at the end of the show, so we didn't give you a lot of time to talk about ProjectSend CVE 2024 11680. I'm not gonna leave this up. I'd rather just talk to you because again, this is my conversation. Can you give us a actual detail now about what this ProjectSend thing is, since we had no time to cover it last week?
Yeah, this was an investigation that happened that has an interesting timeline to it. Originally, there was a disclosure to ProjectSend, which is a open source file sharing web application. Those always have pretty fun vulnerabilities that cause a lot of damage, right? When we think about like move it, all of that. This one in particular is open source, so it's moderately popular. It's got about 4,000 results on Censys. And after that vulnerability was patched, there was an advisory. There was no vulnerability assigned, which is kind of interesting. There was a Metasploit and nuclei template for this exploit. So in the wild, we noticed that there were some of these servers with very strange random names into it, and went backwards from there trying to figure out where it came from. It came from the nuclei and Metasploit logic. So I would highly recommend the read if you want to see a good example of threat hunting and determining a vulnerability from there. So
how many more of these file sharing stuff is like, when is this gonna end? When is this gonna end?
Never.
Ugh.
Never.
Also, I believe that was added to Kev today. So
Yeah.
Nice
You did
job.
it.
Hey, congrats.
you
Yeah.
did it.
That's awesome.
The final boss.
Pretty cool. Now you have
Kev is a boss
two
level.
The final
L- l-
exploitation boss. Where's
Lamest boss
Todd,
level.
by the way, anyway.
Yeah, I know, poor Todd. So what we will close with, we don't have a blog to show about this yet. The noise letter is coming out tomorrow, though. So definitely like and subscribe that and as well too, because it's going to detail something we have been, and Glenn has been frustratingly teasing about for a year. Like, you work, this poor man, this poor man. He has been so frustrated that you all don't get to see the value that we have been seeing out of something internally for a year. But that's all about to change tomorrow. Glenn, you want to talk about what's happening tomorrow a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm imagining like very cartoony vibes of pulling the giant train lever from one track to another and everything just clicks over. But the very high level version is we are switching over to what we're calling our architecture V2. But basically, GreyNoise,
Because we're really creative with names. We're really good at naming.
Yeah, well, it did its job. But almost in a way, like GreyNoise has kind of been rebuilt in the background. So we are moving to an entirely new sensor fleet that has new capabilities, new deception capabilities. We've been using it, like Bob hinted at, kind of in the background for well over 6-9 months for testing and just proving out that it's a valid upgrade to our data set. And it's picking up exploitation so much faster and so much more volume. Is that the right word? Just faster and more of it. So we've been able to work on that for a while, get it scaled out. And so tomorrow is the day to flip the switches that feed our data sets for our customers from the old architecture, legacy sensors, to the new architecture. So you will see new things over the next few weeks. You will see some anomalous trends because obviously trends are going to be like, what's happening? So, but yeah, so we've got some detailed blogs and stuff coming out about it, but it's going to be very, very exciting for our customers and users.
I'm not going to put it up on the screen because it will defile the screen. I'm just going to tell Frank that. So
Defile
you
the
were behind
screen?
yeah, you were gonna like. So Frank is the one behind rigging the candy thing back in October. Frank's the reason why we
Oh.
had that terrible thing. I just had it's an inside joke, people. But like seriously, Frank. Oh, too soon, man. Too
I
soon.
think
That was
honey
just
grands are
terrible.
delicious.
Okay.
I can make a really dark joke right now, but I'm not.
All right, that's cool.
DM me, please.
Yeah, so the thing that you all have to do to take advantage of our new architecture is just use the platform. Like seriously, just you're gonna see new stuff like starting tomorrow. So just enjoy. Like, tell us what's wrong with it, if anything, and hopefully we'll finally be able to talk about all of the new stuff we see on a regular basis with actual receipts that we can show you on a regular. I guess it's gonna be so amazing.
Yeah, in case you were maybe curious why we've been a little quiet on reporting out exploitation in the last 4 to 6 months than some others, and it's because we've been working on this and testing it and making sure that it's on par with the kind of the level of standards that we set for as far as like proving exploitation, and that required a lot of back-end work. I mean, everyone at the company, all 55 of us, have contributed in some way to this, and it is it's no small feat. So it's a big day, and very excited for our users. But yeah, you'll start seeing us start blathering again about exploitation detected or whatever.
Well, and
we've just been
at least once
not able to share it properly.
Yeah, at least once a month we have like been on the edge of our seats, like saying, "Oh, we should tell everybody about what we just thought," and we can't because we can't point it to the platform. So now we can.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Very excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any closing thoughts from y'all about anything?
Don't hack small businesses unless you want to get in trouble with the government.
I thought you were gonna make that rhyme for a second.
No, I tried. I did not. My brain.
I just remembered another commercial, the polar bear, the Coca-Cola polar bear commercial. That was a good one.
That's what I talked about.
That's what Kimber talked about.
Did you black
that was the
out
whole
while I
thing.
Oh, that's when I was having camera issues, so I actually may not have.
Oh, yeah.
heard you.
You actually did black
Wow.
out.
Sorry.
Yeah, he blacked out. That's what it was. Yeah.
It's fine.
See,
wow. Okay, sorry.
Fine.
Glenn steals everybody's content. It's just so bad. It's so bad.
Wait, just kidding. I did that on purpose. It's fine.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, that's all for today's Stormwatch. Remember, kids, whether you're patching your way through the cyber wilderness or hunting threats in the digital jungle, stay great out there. And if you're still hanging around on X, don't worry, there's no wrong way to migrate. So keep your sensors up and your false positives down, and we'll catch you on the next forecast. This is Stormwatch signing off before another 0 day sends us into overtime. Take care, everybody.
Bye.